Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's episode, guys, I'm going to be teaching us how to make this corset top, a cup corset top. This is very simple. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for sharing my videos. So let's go straight into this video. We are actually starting with a pattern drafting. So here's me just ruling out my margin line, my starting point line, so I can know where my line is starting from. So I'm going to be marking out my measurements, the body measurements. I'm going to be marking from the shoulder to the half length. The half length I'm actually working with is 15 inches. That's the from the shoulder to the waist is 15 inches, and the top is a basque waistline. So after marking out my half length, which is my waistline, then I'm going to write it out. Then I'm also going to be from my half length, guys, from my half length. So it depends on how long you want your back waistline to be. So for me, I used 4 inches down from my waistline down, so that would be my basque waistline. I hope you understand. The half length is the waistline, while I measured 4 inches from the waistline down to get my half length. So here is me just chalking out my back. The back is 14 inches, which is 7 inches. Then I marked the neckline, that's 3 by 3. Then I'm going to roll it out. And from my shoulder, I came down by half an inch for the shoulder slope. From the half an inch we come down from the shoulder, I'm going to connect it back to the neckline. That will be the new shoulder line, and from that new shoulder line you are going to mark out your chest line. For you to get out your chest line, just divide the measurement for the back plus 1 inch, then that will be your chest line. Then I'm going to rule it out. So after ruling it out, I'm going to write out my chest line. Then I'm going to get the midpoint from the chest line to the shoulder. As you can see in this video, I'm just going to get the midpoint. Then I'm going to come in by half an inch from that midpoint. Then for the bust measurement, you're going to input your bust measurement. You can, for this I added +6 to my bust measurement. Then I connected it from where the bust was 34, then +6, then I got the actual measurement divided by 4. Then I connected it. I placed the measurement on my chest. Then from my chest I connected it to the midpoint of the chest line to the shoulder, and that's how I actually got my armhole. So here I'm just chalking out my underbust. The underbust I'm working on for this dress, I'm using 14 inches is the underbust, as you can see. So from that center, I'm going to be chalking out from the shoulder. I'm also going to be chalking out my bust point. So the bust point I'm working with is 10 inches. So in another video, I'm going to be teaching you how to actually get your bust points. Not everybody knows how to get the bust point of a client, so I'm going to be explaining that in another video. So I'm going to be marking out the bust pan, the difference between from one bust to another bust. So for this person, I'm using 3.5. Our bust pan is 7.5, so I'm using 3.5, and I'm going to reel it down from the bust point all the way down to the basque waistline. And at the under bust, I'm going to be taking 1.5 on both sides of the dart, 1.5 at the both side like this, as you can see in this video. So I'm going to be using the curved side of my ruler and connect it from the under bust to the bust point. Like that, and I'm going to be doing that to the other side exactly like that. Then you're going to determine how you want the cleavage to show. If you don't want it to reveal at all, so from the chest line, I don't want this person cleavage to actually show, so I came up by 1 inch from the chest line, and I come in by 1/2 inch like that. Then I connected it straight. Then I'm going to be using my curved ruler to curve it from. So before that, I'm going to be taking the dart of the chest line as well. So I used 1 inch on the upper side, 1 inch at the upper side of my bust. So I'm going to be connecting it with the curved ruler. You can't actually get it very well, so I used my free hand. The curve was not curving with the ruler, so I used my free hand. Then from the 1/2 inch, I just connected it all the way to my under bust, and that will be our CF. That's the front cup. Then the distance between the bust point and the under bust is what we are going to be using for the side bust. Then I chalked it out, then I curved it. I hope you understand the difference between the under bust and the bust point. The measurement that is there, I just placed it at the side of my cup, then I curved it out. And from the center front, which I come up by 1/2 inch, by 1 inch at the chest line, I'm just going to give my cup a nice shape, a nice sweeter shape like that, and connect it back to my bust line. So we now have our front and the side. So I'm going to be cutting this out. We have not actually placed our measurements, so we are going to be cutting off the dart before we can actually curve our back waistline. It depends on how you want it. If you want it round, if you want it in a V shape, if you want it in a slant form. So here's me just cutting out my cups. I'm removing the dart first. I'm removing the downside dart and the front darts. Then I'll be cutting off my yoke. I'm not going to be needing a yoke for this dress, but if the dress you are making use of a yoke, You can just cut the yoke in a separate fabric and cut it out. So I'm placing my chest, my center front on the side. Then I'm going to be taking my bust, my waist measurement, and I'm going to cuff it from my waist to the center front. At the side, I'm going to be cuffing it from the side to the center front. So placing it like that, just chalk out your bust, your waist, then you cuff it from the side of the waist to the center of the front. That's how any desired length. So I've done that off camera, and this is how it is looking like. So I just divided my side into two. Then for the back, yes, for the back, so I rule out my margin line, the side and the front side. So I'm going to be reducing the back length because I want the back to be a bit low. So I marked out my half length, which is my waistline. So the back is not going to be the same length as the front, but the side are always equal, the side of the front and the side of the back. So here is me just chalking out my back measurement. We are not going to be needing a zip allowance because we are putting an eyelet on those back. So I just chalked out my chest line, my under bust. So I'm also going to do the same measurement like I did for the front. So my bust measurements and the waist measurement, and I'm going to connect it. I'm going to connect my armhole like that. Then I'm going to connect from my bust to my waist. You can see I checked out my chest, my bust point, my under bust, and my actual half length with allowance. So at the under bust, I'm going to be marking out 2 inches. I'm going to be taking out 2 inches out of my back measurement because we are going to be snatching the back. We did not add any zip allowance to it, so we removed, there is no zip allowance, and we also removed 2 inches out of the actual back. Then I determined how low I want my back to be. Then I connected it back to my armhole. Then I divided what I have at my waist. I divided it into 2. Then I connected it all the way from the down to the upper side. And I'm also going to be taking that on both sides. I'm going to be taking a dart of 1 inch on both sides. I'm sorry, I take half an inch on both sides. That was a mistake. I discovered 1 inch would be actually too much because I don't want our back to be revealing too much. As you can see in the video, the back was not actually showing. There was no space at the back, so I used half an inch on both sides. Then I cut it out, and I'm going to be having the side, center, and the back side. And I'm going to be transferring this on my main fabric, that's center back and side back, that's 1 and 2. And I'm going to be cutting that out on my main fabric. So this is the pattern. I was doing this to indicate where I'll be joining them together. So the center cup and the side cup and the center front, the side back. I just slashed my back into two and the side into two. So here's me. I've cut out these on my fabric and I've added interface to it. So this video is actually too long, so I made it in two parts. So this is the first part and the second part will be the sewing tutorial. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel, like my channel, share my video to people that are interested in sewing tutorials like this, and to really mean a lot to me, to really mean a lot. Thank you for supporting this channel. So I'm going to be dropping the part 2 of this as well. So here is me just actually joining. So the center front and the side back, we are going to be joining them together like that. We are going to be joining them. You take one center front and one side, you join it together like that. And you're also going to be doing that to the lining as well. It's actually nice for you to pin down before going to the sewing machine. So after joining that straight, then you're going to join the center front as well.